Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, and if we don't see you later, it's a good night. Welcome to Seedcast. It's Seedcast Live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Today is Tuesday, the 20th of April. It is 1901. I am joined, as always, by the 8-armed, 16-legged behemoth of a man who is known as Mr. Fuggles. John, how are you?
I'm good. Don't do that, because the wife will be expecting me to do even more DIY around the house. But thank you anyway. I'm good. It's the weather. Look, you're outside. You're just showing off now. That's just not fair.
I am. I'm sat on my balcony, and it's actually the sort of sea mist has rolled in because there's not much wind, and it looks like that.
Ooh, very nice.
So it's actually quite a nice evening. Yeah, it's quite interesting. And I just, it's quite nice to sit up here and enjoy the ambiance. All the people that don't live on the beach have gone home now. Most of them have taken their rubbish with them, and we go. But
go on.
I was just gonna say it's I totally forgot, to be honest. I just come back from Peterborough and I was just having dinner. I'm sat there, I'm getting myself stuck into the Mummy that's on the Sky Movies, and you messaged me and went, "Ready when you are." I was like, crap, I better get ourselves ready, which is great. And so obviously these are we're live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. The idea of this is basically me and you, John, just shooting the shizzle, chatting about things that are relevant. And today, what have we come up with today? What are we going to talk to the lovely people today?
Well, so we're going to talk about sales, right? Because I had a conversation this afternoon with a founder of a startup. It's a very cool startup. I can't tell you any more than that. But we had a conversation about
no one's watching.
Everyone's in sales. We're all salespeople, And if you walk into an office and the security person, the receptionist, whatever, says, hello, can I help you? Would you like a cup of tea? Your first impressions are great. If you walk in and they go, have you got an appointment? And that's the point. Everyone is in sales. At that point, you've just sold the company on its values. You've sold yourself on your values. You've done some reverse selling, which we'll get into that later, which is you've also demonstrated how important that person is to you, right? So we do it all the time. We always think of salespeople as someone who drives around in a BMW and wears a slightly ill-fitting suit and slip-on shoes. That's furthest from the truth. Everyone is in sales. Everyone is
ill-fitting suit.
Ill-fitting suit and slip-on shoes.
Yeah.
But everyone's in sales, and there are things you can do to make it easier for you, to make it better, to improve your chances. I mean, it was Napoleon who called us a nation of shopkeepers. Actually, we're now, according to most people, we're now a nation of entrepreneurs, which is a bizarre thing, because there's no one left then to do the work, right? But
we're a nation of people that have created mindset entrepreneurships.
Yes, just think like that, and you'll be a millionaire tomorrow. That's all you got to do. No, but all these people who run their own businesses, they're all salespeople. They're all in sales. They're all networking, selling themselves. They're all, trying to win a bit of business. Everyone is a salesperson, and most people are not that good at it. And that's not being critical. That's just because they just haven't learned some of the basics.
You know what, Ruslan, thanks for watching, buddy. I hope you're well. Really interesting one here. He said pubs always ask for booking nowadays prior to offering a drink. So we are in a different time. We're in a different time. Obviously, things have changed. That is a good example now of having to sell yourself or your business or your proposition prior to somebody actually entering into that establishment. I work in recruitment, you work in business growth. business growth, you've got to at some point sell yourself, whether it's to the bank to get more money, whether it's to your staff to try them to get to do more work. My job, I deal with a lot of contractors, and the contractors who are sitting in middle or back offices in banks don't have any front-facing, client-facing activity. But to get the job, they've got to sell themselves. They've got to sell their abilities. They've got to sell their understandings. They've got to understand ethics. I guess probably a really good place for us to start is what is sales? Why did sales come around? What are we looking at when we say to somebody that you've got to get better at sales? What do we mean, John?
Well, so the sales process is not difficult, right? You start off with a huge list of people who've never heard of you, mainly, and you end up with someone at the bottom writing you a check, right? It's okay, no longer writing a check, let's be honest, but that's the simple process of it all. So there's a number of steps you go through. From qualifying, you make sure they're not wasting your time, that you can do what they want you to do, and so on and so forth, to educating them, understanding, and even that has changed. 20 years ago, the ruling thought in sales was you listen to the customer, you try to understand what they want, you try and bend your solution to match their needs as best you can, and hopefully, you just do marginally better than the competition. But even that's now changed. Now, instead of, yes, you still listen to the customer, but you educate the customer, because the customer's already done all the wrong education online. So you spend your time, teaching them what they should know, teaching them what is important, and teaching them about the priorities of the product they're going to buy, because there is no such thing as a perfect fit, or if there is, it's very rare. And then, take control of the conversation and actually sell them rather than waiting for them to buy. And business people are all doing that every day. And if you're not doing that, you need to.
You know who the best salespeople are?
Go on.
Kids. Daddy, I need a new toy. I want a new toy. Why do you need a new toy, son? And the creativity that comes from it. I mean, I think as people get older, or they don't understand where that comes from, it's like fear. Fear is something we learn. It's not something you're born with. Sales is something that you are born with. You're naturally born to. There's my dad. To put stuff, get people to either want to like you, to want to deal with you. People that are putting stuff on social media or Instagram, they're doing it because they want people to like them, to follow them, to hit a button that says yes, like, and hit an emoji or whatever it is. That is a certain element of sales. Yes, it might be fake sales, and it might be done a different way, but we come from quest. My first sales job was a door knocking. And I flew to. Cheers, Dad. The interactiveness is amazing. I flew to here you go, look. Dad, say hello.
This is live and unscripted, in case you were thinking otherwise.
Yeah. And I went for an interview because it was marketing, and he took me to another place in Australia, Sydney, the next day, and I was door knocking in Sydney in 45-degree heat in a suit and a pair of wooden soled shoes. I knocked on 120 doors, didn't do one sale.
Yep.
Yeah, people were making $1,000 around me, and I went back and I said to the guys, "What who made the most money?" And they went, "See that guy over there?" And his name was Raj. I'd never met Raj before. Funny enough, I speak to a lot of Rajes in my business now, but never spoken to one before. And I went over to him. He was a little Indian guy. He was actually Australian, but he looked fairly Indian. I said, "Tell me, what did you do that was different to what I do?" He went, "Pitch me." So I pitched him, and he went, "See that number's up on the board. There was 1 to 5." He said, "Those 5 are those stages. Just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is rehash. Go back to 4 to figure out a buying signal from him and understand it." I didn't understand what that meant, so I said, "Just tell me." And he went, "Just don't worry about it. Just go by fear of loss. You'll be fine." I've spoken to all your neighbours, and they've all bought from me today. Do you fancy it? So I went out and did that day, and I smashed the record. Did more sales than anyone's ever done in the Cobra Group up till this day. Made just under $5,000 in one day of knocking on people's doors. Knocked on every single door, didn't cherry pick, picked or went through all the process, and since then I started my forward process in the world of sales.
So you took you cherry picking. See, that's just procrastination. I mean, how many people sit there and go, "Yeah, I'm just going to do that one. I don't like the look of that house or whatever." Or they've got their well-developed script. They're going to do phone calls. They've got their list of people they're going to target. They've got the well-developed script. They've got their hook. They've got their compelling event. They've got their objection handlers. They've got everything set, and then they go, "Yeah, I'm just going to get a cup of coffee first."
Yeah.
Procrastination, delay, excuses. Make a call, get told to go away and never come back again, or there's that guy who walks in the office and his boss said, "Did you get 2 orders? Did you get any orders?" He went, "Yeah, I got 2." He said, "What were they?" He went, "Get out and don't come back." But the point is.
But you know what's funny about that? So when I ran the offices, and I had offices doing direct sales in Australia, I had my office desk, right? I used to go out every morning and do sales with everybody else, and then I used to do a load of interviews. Behind me, I had a clear wall, or like a window, if you like, into the next room. And on that, on a Monday, I clean it off every Friday, every Sunday night. I clean it off, and every Monday morning it was blank. So everybody that came in, and we had about 100 people on the field, everybody that came in and gave me their excuses, they came in and they wrote their excuses on the wall. So if there was an excuse on the wall, you couldn't use that same excuse.
Yep.
So after a few weeks, we started to get less and less complaints written on the wall. And eventually we didn't have any because they realized that no one was in. You knocked on 200 doors today and there wasn't a single person on your door. There is a chance that could happen, but the chances are, that's not the case. So, and I think that if we look at kids, my son Theo, for instance, he was just standing in, and he's like, "Can I come on? Can I come on?" Even that is a sales tactic. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
But I mean, to that point, I was doing some work for a B2B sales agency, all independent agents, and these people were getting really demoralized. It was a rainy day. That you walk into a shop, you're hot and bothered. You're dripping wet. You're waiting for 5 minutes to talk to the owner, who's probably not there. Blah blah blah. And they were getting really, really hacked off. These people, they were not getting anywhere. So I said, well, okay. So, the adage that every time you get a no, you're getting nearer a yes, because there's only so many people out there who don't want what you've got. So we started recording the number of people who got knockbacks, and we created a gallows humor kind of thing. As people were going, I've just had 3 no's on the trot, bang on for the next one. It created gallows humor. So sales should be fun.
We call that law of averages.
Yeah. But sales is meant to be fun, right? It doesn't matter if you win or you lose. Just go have some fun with it.
You got to be the best person out there.
No. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter in terms of if you win or if you lose. It doesn't matter. So what? There's another deal. There's another deal. There's another opportunity. The fact that you were told, go away and don't come back. Okay, move on. It's not personal. So selling is. We talk about what I used to like. Selling is structure. It's discipline, it's organization, and it's just getting on and doing it.
And I think that, when you're door knocking for a loss leader for a telephone, a $10 SIM card, or you're selling a multi-million-pound project, the complexities change. Obviously, the understanding of the product changes, dependent. But, if we more sort of move on for what sales into an understanding of what builds sales, what increases your chances of sales. And I look at this in 3 different ways. This comes down to branding and trust, and that is personal branding. So whether they like you, does the person that you're sitting in front of have what they've read about you being positive? Do they like what you're wearing? Did you turn up 10 minutes late? Did you smoke a cigarette on their balcony of their property? Or those sort of things. Do they like you? Secondly, do they like the brand? Do you work for a brand that is, it's trustworthy, likable? Do they like what's been in the press? Is it been in the adverse media? Do they actually like that? And then thirdly, the product. Is the product relevant? Is it overpriced? Is it something that they actually want? I remember talking to a double glazing salesman. I rang the double glazing guy, and we know him, and I said, "Come around our house. We need double glazing. We want double glazing for our house." I said, "You don't have to give me a long spiel." I said, "Just come around, measure it up. I know you guys. We trust you guys. I know the value will be good. come out and see me. 45 minutes after he arrived, he's still crapping on about stuff, and he's still this. In the end, he went, right, so have you decided what you want? I said, to be honest, I've been here for 45 minutes, coming on an hour. I said, I told you what I wanted before you came. I said, now I need to think about it. And we ended up not buying it. In fact, to this day, we still haven't had it because he was here for an hour and a half. Then he spent 30 minutes trying to convince me that's how it should have been, even though I'd kind of like said that I wanted it. So, I think him not understanding me, that he could have walked in and gone, right, let's measure up and let's get you nailed and get it done. And I would have gone done,
Yeah. But that's buying signals and listening and all that kind of stuff. I mean, look, let's start at the beginning, right? Let's put some. The first thing you need to do is identify your prospects, suspects, whatever you want to call them. Punters, opportunities, whatever you call them. Whether it's an individual that might be buying a birthday cake, from your shop, or whether it's someone buying £1 million worth of software. Same thing. You got to make sure that people are serious. To your point, branding, do they like you? Do they like the company? Do they like the product? All that kind of stuff. Because people do buy off people, and then you've got to qualify them. Are they doing it this year? Are they just kind of feeling the water? Are they just using you to lower the price of their current installed supplier? I mean, what are they doing that convinces you that this is a genuine opportunity? And at the start of the process, you need to get the buyer to do the selling, i.e., the buyer needs to convince you that, this is a worthwhile conversation. Because otherwise you go, you know what, instead of wasting an hour with you, I'm going to go and waste an hour with someone else because they might buy. So to get the buyer to do the selling, they want your service. And that's the first thing. And then you start off with a huge list of names and numbers, and suddenly you have a shorter list of names and numbers, and those are the ones you pursue. Too much time is spent chasing the wrong deals.
Yeah, exactly. And, I've worked in places not too long ago where, and I'll come to Ruslan's question in a minute, but where they would send 5 people to a sales call. They would do a 60-page spreadsheet or PowerPoint presentation based on what they thought they wanted without asking them, what do you want? And then drilling down on that. So sales evolve today. Humans are the same, but a method to get inside the brain becomes more aggressive compared to door-to-door sale. So I'm looking for a new company car. I went onto the Mercedes website today. I want an E thingy, that's like that's got E petrol and electric. And I was looking on the website, and underneath every car is a buy now button.
Yeah,
I clicked on it. You can buy a £60,000 car on £100,000 car on the internet and have it delivered to your house.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, Christ,
But online shopping in the UK, we are 30% of all our spend is online now in the UK, which is about double the rest of Europe combined, or the average of the rest of Europe. So we're streets ahead. I mean, distance selling for things like cars and high value items, it changes your rights as a buyer. Yeah, I get all that. But you're right. It should be that easy. But we complicate it. Most cars, not necessarily German with 3 stars, but most cars, if you want to buy a car, it's bloody difficult. You've got to go into the dealership. Did you bring your driving license? Did you bring your passport? What's your inside leg measurement? Do you want to take it for a test drive? No, I don't want to take it for a test drive. Take it for a test drive. I don't want to take a car for a test drive. No, you have to. Why? You're going to drive on a route you've chosen in a car that's spotlessly cleaned and parked in the biggest parking space possible, facing the exit. It's if you're going to buy a car, go to test drive it on a day when it's pouring with rain, and turn up with all your luggage that you're never going to go on hospital and a bag full of loose apples, right? And then ask them to park it in the smallest parking space in the car park, facing the curb, and then go for a test drive. If they don't do that, say I'm not interested, because they won't, because it's got to be perfect, but it's not perfect. Fine. Sorry, ran over with.
Yeah. Just get down off that pedestal. So, what's interesting? Ruslan talked about it. Then is Cambridge Analytica. Did you watch that movie about the presidency? I was on looking at something the other day for sale to buy, and then I ended up. Then I was on Facebook, and I've never looked at this item to buy. I then saw that I went on Facebook, and adverts for that were on Facebook, and it's quite specific. And I was like, how? I was on my computer when I did that, and then I was on my phone on that. I mean, it's gone.
Yeah. So there's a friend of mine, a chap called Rob. I was around his house. I forget what we were doing something to do with just catching up, and he had to go and get some stuff in the garage. He said, "Look, I've got something I need to sort out with the car in the garage. Get yourself a cup of coffee. I'll be back in half an hour." And he had one of those Amazon Echo things. So I spent the next half an hour talking to his Amazon Echo about the best way to dispose of a body, and can you buy body bags online, and how much lime do you need, and acid, and all that kind of. I spent half an hour talking to this Amazon Echo, asking all these questions. I'm on my own now. I got a phone call from him about 2 days later, screaming down the phone at me, sort of saying, "What on earth have you been doing? All my social media feed is awash with all this stuff, and I can't get rid of it." He's now taken his Amazon Echo, and it's probably in the bottom of his shed somewhere. But people, you want Big Brother in your house, you just invite them in. That's why, because every time you do something, everyone's joining the dots.
Yeah. I mean, Joe. Hey, Joe. Nice to see you. Joella Bruckshaw. Definitely agree. Get the buyer to do the selling. Important to ask the right questions. What's funny in my business is, what happened there? Sorry. What's funny in my business is we're recruiters are considered quite hostile. Give me some work. I'll just call, make loads of phone calls. But really, that kind of way of doing recruitment has kind of gone out the window a little bit. And now, an understanding of the market, an understanding of the client is more important before you pick up the phone and go what it is. The first recruiter call I did was from like direct call, like blind call, if you like, cold call, was to the woman who was head of the Bank of China. And she, I called, I didn't expect anyone to answer. And I was like, sat there at my desk, and she answered, and I went, hello, is that such and such? And she went, yeah. Who's this? And I went, oh, this is, and I could barely speak, literally just, her mind just went a blank. I must have coughed and splut. And she went, look, next time you pick up the effing phone, make sure you know what you're going to talk about, and slam the phone down. I had this massive laugh. I looked up, and my boss was on listening to the call, and he just absolutely pissed himself laughing. He was like, and I said, you know what, that was horrendous. So I made 200 phone calls a day for a week, and by the end of the week, I could make a phone call.
But people are scared of that. We talked about procrastination. Same thing. I was working for an aerospace technology company, and I rang a chap called Stelios. He answered.
Legend.
And I got chatting to him, and I put the phone down, and there's a guy sitting next to me, a guy called Johnny, and he looked at me and he said, "Did you just talk to Stelios?" I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Why did you do that?" I went, "I wanted to talk to the boss." And don't be afraid to pick up the phone and talk to whoever it is you want to talk to. They either will talk to you or they won't. Actually, this was the start of quite interesting projects we did for them. He could have told me to clear off in probably 5 different languages for all I know, but he didn't, because no one else rang him. To ring people up, that sales is about make a call, knock on a door, starts from there.
What's interesting as well is I do this. Anybody in the world can log on to LinkedIn, go to my LinkedIn, and book a 15-minute call with me, a Zoom call. I do 10 a day. Out of 10, 3 people don't turn up and give me some BS excuse. Someone said to me the other day, they said, and when you do what I do, you realize when people are lying. He said, my son was really ill. I had to take him to hospital. We thought he was going to die. Those were the words that came out of his mouth. I said, oh, that's terrible. When did you go to hospital? Bearing in mind it was 9:30 in the morning. And he went, oh, we went there at 8 o'clock. I said, how far away do you live from the hospital? He went, 25 minutes. So I said, you went to the hospital at 8 o'clock, 25 minutes, got there. They got to see a doctor. Who's with your son that's really ill, realized that he wasn't actually that ill. You managed to get home, and now you're calling me from your house. He went, yeah. I went, dude, I call bullshit. I said, the fact that you'd forgotten, if you just said, look, I forgot, I would work with you. But, a qualification process for me when I'm working with clients, with candidates, is really simple. If they want me to do, a lot of people expect a recruiter to do 100% of the work. I give, on every 15-minute call, I give that person homework and a date and a time to do it.
But sales should be like that, right? If you're in selling, I don't know, a new security camera system for a building or something like that, you don't go in there and do the full sales or double glazing. Full sales. You want the buyer to do some work as well, right? You want the buyer to tell you what their reasons are, what they're looking for, what they've looked at, what research they've done. And everyone can do research online. It's a much more balanced process than it used to be, right? People buying now do their research online. The problem is, we all know that the internet is full of only the 100% truth, so that's jolly reliable, isn't it? But you've got to make the buyer do some work, because if the buyer's not doing some work, they're not invested in the process. And if they're not invested in the process, it's more difficult to sell. You need the buyer to go on that journey with you. Oh gosh, that sounded very sales-like, didn't it? Go on that journey with you. You need the buyer to go on that journey with you.
Yes. Double glazing, conservatory salesman John Fugleys. So I think how we talked about this before. We talked about this with Joe. Once I get my coaching with Joe, and I'm doing executive coaching, that's a Friday morning at 10:30. Once I get my executive coaching done, and I'm apparently uncoachable, or the most annoying person in the world to coach, all these lovely things that Joe's talked about me, although it is really good fun, we are going to do a how-to series.
Okay.
I think what's important is synergy. I'm quite an empathetic person. I get sad at things. I get upset with things. I like to help people and that sort of stuff. And that's always helped me in sales. Somebody once said to me, Anthony, you're not a good salesperson because you don't force the product on them straight away. I am a long game person. I do like the complexities of recruitment because I work in a complex market. But I think when we do our how-tos, synergies, when two people are working together, and we've been across this recently, when two people are working together, and that dream just keeps on getting lived. But when two people are working together and one of them thinks that they've got synergy and the other person doesn't, the chances are they don't have it. And if they can't figure it out together, then what do they expect from the client?
Yeah, I've watched people giving presentations, and they thought they had the room captivated, and everyone's sitting there going, "What on earth is going on?
What the hell are we doing?" Yeah,
you have to be able to read. Don't get me wrong. We don't all have to be NLP practitioners or mind readers or whatever. But empathy is a great thing. But you do need to be able to read what's going on. And if you're skating off into the wrong direction, or if you're talking about something that's not relevant and you see their eyes glaze over, don't feel, well, hang on a minute, I'm only on the second bullet point on this slide, I've got 5 more to go. Stick with it, boys. No, like their eyes are glazed over, they're gonna sleep. So just move on to the next slide. Do you
want me to show you the best indicator that the person you're trying to sell to is not interested?
Go on.
Hang on a sec, I've just got to take this call. Yes, Mum. How you doing? No. What I'm doing right now is not important. Jesus. I have a screening process.
People aren't even that blatant. They sit there doing this.
Okay, I've got a really good one for you.
Desk, right? Yeah.
Can you tell I've been doing it? So I've got a really good one for you. So I put really clearly on LinkedIn, I get 600 CVs a week sent to me. 600 people looking for me to be their savior to help change the jobs and and rescue them from the sand pit, which is unemployment. And that I say, I'm very clear. I'm saying, if you send me your CV and it comes with these words, I've attached my CV. Can you tell me what jobs you've got that are relevant to my business, to me? I'm deleting it. Yep. I'll tell everybody this. I do this multiple times across LinkedIn. I put it on every text message that I put out. There are simple questions that I want. What is your day rate? What is your expected day rate? What was it before? What's your employment status? So when are your availability? What job are you interested in that you've seen me advertise? And I'm very clear about what they put in. And what peaks the top end you like? those questions are very, very important. And if they are not,
if they mention pineapples, you just throw it in the bin straight away, right?
You know what? It's funny. I did a test over 372 CVs or something, 372 emails, and I legitimately counted 372. I got bored after that and thought that'll do. 90% were chicken pizzas. There wasn't one person that put pineapple.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case. But sales doesn't have to be buy from me.
No.
A lot of the people that I have made a lot of money out of are actually personal friends of mine. You don't need to be the enemy to benefit out of business.
No, but that's an interesting point. I will always buy from friends. I will always buy from associates and people I know, in preference to anyone else. That's not me being anti-Amazon or whatever it is. It's just the fact that there's a degree of loyalty there. And I've got, we had a load of building work done on the house. The electrician was a man called Steve. I just told him what I needed doing. He said, okay, what have you had quoted? I went, Steve, you know the going rate. You know how much to charge me. I know you won't rip me off. Just do it. I'm not interested. Just send me the bill afterwards. We're still friends.
Yeah, you're different to me. I'll be like, how much is it? I've had 7 quotes and they're all 30% cheaper. So match that and you're done.
Well, yeah, but at least you're still putting your money with your. But maybe that's just because I don't want Steve to sell to me in that example, right?
Exactly.
I mean, selling is a simple process, right? It's very simple. Qualify out hard at the beginning. Stop wasting time. There's a phrase in sales. There's 2 people who win a bid: those who win the deal and those who walk away at the beginning. Everyone else is just losing time, losing money. Qualify them hard. Make the phone call. Don't procrastinate, and just try and understand what they need. But don't take what they need on face value. Push back, challenge. Say, why do you need that? Are you sure that's the right thing? And challenge, because most people, if you challenge them, will respect you because you're bringing professional integrity and knowledge to the conversation.
I know a guy that does public speaking, and he was charging $5,000 a day, and he was chatting to this other guy, and I was there and I was listening to the conversation. He's like, he said, so how much do you charge? And he said, I asked for $9,000. He's like, why? He's like, how do you get paid $9,000? He goes, I ask. So the next time this guy got asked to go and do one of these talks, he and I spoke to him about it afterwards. He said, the person said, how much are you? And he went, $9,000. And they went, oh, we don't have $9,000 in the budget, but we've got 8. Is that going to cover it? And he went, yes. It really is. Sometimes it really is that simple. But on that bombshell, my voice has come to an end. I'm in London tomorrow. I'm actually meeting up with your good self tomorrow as well, John. So I look forward to that. From the South Coast and from us at Seedcast, it's Antony and John. We talked about sales tonight, and John and I have got a lot of experience in this from different areas and different markets and different arenas, but we've all done that. We've done the same punches across the board. So it's been really enjoyable evening talking about this today. We look forward to touching base with everybody again next week at 7:00. Look,
it's cold.
It's chilly now from the South Coast of the UK. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Look after yourself. Be good, John. Always a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Wear something stylish.
Stylish. Okay, fedora.
Yeah. Cool. Have a good evening, guys.
Bye, everyone.